Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is week 3 of the business automation webinar. Today, we are going to talk about operations. And next week, we're going to talk about finances. And we will have Simon here. He is a professional with Zoho Finance. So that'll be exciting. All right, so we are Amazing Business Results. We're a premium Zoho partner, and we are one of the most decorated partners in the world. We help small businesses and businesses up to about 500 employees. We help them with their sales process and then also other processes as well. And of course, we always encourage you to educate yourself on Zoho so that you're never a hostage to a developer. Therefore, we have a YouTube channel and also we have online courses. Today, we are going to talk about operations, as I said. So the first 3 sections are all going to be Zoho projects. We'll have project templates, milestones, lists, and tasks, the Gantt chart and utilization. And then we'll go into meetings and webinars, tasks. And I know last week we said that you should not use tasks, but that is for your sales cycle. And there are specific situations in which tasks are useful. So we'll dive into that today. And then we have Zoho Desk, communication and alerts, and forms and integration. So we will start with project templates. Templates always save you time. Templates are a godsend because why would you want to recreate the same thing over and over and over again? All it does is eat up your time, right? So what we have inside of Zoho, we all know that, well, assuming you were here the last 2 sessions, you know that the buttons are called a blueprint, the blue buttons that we see right here. And so what we have is when you click closed one.
That's it. No more questions here.
Okay. All right. So we're going to dive deeper into Zoho projects now with milestones, list, and task. There are different types of tasks that we're going through right now. There are different types of tasks inside of Zoho, so just bear with me. So the tasks we're talking about right now are going to be the ones inside of Zoho projects. So the question is, do you have a bad project manager or do you have a lack of structure and your project manager is grasping for straws with no way to organize projects, check in on the people that are completing the projects, and has a way to basically measure whether they're being productive or not? So right here, this is an example of a project. So this is the data that you can put in to create a project. Someone can own the project. And you'll have owners on different levels. Like you can have one person that owns the project and then someone else can own certain tasks if, they are only involved for those specific tasks. We have a budget. We always need to stay on budget, right? And then we have a status and a start and an end date. So this is very important because this is a little bit different from the start and end date from the task. So maybe our project starts today, and then you have the actual task under the task list here. So as you can see, these have their own owner, these have their own status, they have their own start date, their own due date, their own priority. And then this is a detailed view of the task. So if I click into the task, this is what I see. So there's different things you can use here. You can use a reminder. So you can let them know, hey, this task is going to be due in 1 week. Billing type, if you use things like that. You can use tags. Another thing is if you see my mouse here, it says work hours. And then down here, you have log hours. These are different because work hours is going to be what I estimate this task to take. So whoever's doing it, I'm estimating that it's going to take you 3 hours to complete. If you have logged 6 hours on a 3-hour task, something's going on there, right? Either I'm bad at estimating, you ran into an issue, whatever the case. So this actually is very useful in pulling things reports, especially if you work on a fixed price basis in your company. You can see whether you're actually making money on a project or if you're losing money on a project. We also down here, I should have given you a better picture. from the bottom, so sorry about that. But if you look down here at the bottom where my mouse is, you can leave internal comments on the task. So whoever the employee working on it wants to ask for something or they need to tell you something, they can leave a comment there, and you can actually tag each other in it too, so that you get an email notification letting you know that you need to go look at that. Subtask, so maybe a task has a subtask associated with it, meaning that you have to do both of those basically at the same time. There are documents, so if you need to upload a PDF, anything like that, you can upload that. And then issues is a good one. So if you had an issue with the task, maybe somebody came back and said, hey, that wasn't done properly, you can log those there, and then you have a written log of all of the issues that happen, so later on for reviews or things like that. And then activity stream, of course, you can see basically who has made changes on this record. So if you had the due date for the 21st and now it's set for the 30th and you didn't do it, you can go in and check maybe somebody changed it because they needed more time and didn't want to tell you. And so this is the Kanban view. This is my favorite view in Zoho projects. And the reason is because the list view looks very cluttered. In the Kanban view, I'm able to see at a quick glance where is everything at and what needs my attention. So we have 13 open, 2 in progress. Let's say if there was one on hold, then that would kind of trigger me to say, hey, why is this on hold? Do you need something for it that you don't have? Is there an issue? What's going on? So that I can jump in and solve that issue so that we can move forward with the project. And then, of course, you can grab them and drag them to different statuses. So I think it's a lot more efficient and just easier to use. And all right, so we're ready for questions.
Okay, so before the questions,
Mhm.
as a company, we tried different type of ways to manage our projects
Mhm.
because we have lots of clients and lots of projects coming in. Zoho Projects eventually was the tool that we are right now using, and it was the best tool from all.
Mhm.
We tried to use I don't want to go into the specific applications, but we tried really good applications. The reason I think that the magic about Zoho Projects for us, when a deal is being closed, it will automatically create a project. So there is a problem in companies that when a sale is done, the operation don't know to start the project.
Mhm.
And this is a big problem. The client says, you know what, I already gave you down payment, I signed the agreement, it's been 3 weeks. And only then you say, oh shit, I got it. And this is where there is no delay between sales and operations. The second thing is there is beautiful thing in Zoho. It's you can see your manpower utilization. So let's say that I need now, as a salesperson, I need to sell a project. The project I know will be about 2 months of work for a developer. I can go to the human utilization report and I can see if employees are even ready for a job like that.
Yeah.
Because I might tell the client that I can sell him the 2 months project, but he will start only March 23. So you're not really selling a 2 months project. The person is paying for it, expecting to start, and only then you drop him the baseball bat on that. You just, it's just better way to conduct business like that.
Mhm.
The last thing that really worked for us, there is a great integration between Zoho Project and Zoho Books, which is your accounting system. And this is something we'll touch also next week. But whenever you have the developers working on projects, they will log timesheet.
So let's talk about the Gantt chart and utilization. So this is still continuing in Zoho projects, and it is a great way to manage your managers. So if you have a project manager, you make an assumption that the projects are being taken care of. And this is a great way to find out if that is true or not. This is also a great tool for the project manager themselves. So here we have the Gantt chart, and the red line at the top, that is and if we hover over them, So the top, we hover over the project, we can see that it has actually been open for 233 days. That's significant. And then we can do the same thing for the task. We can see if it's open, when it started, when it was due, how long it's been in progress, if we're behind schedule at all. And then the predecessors and the successors, those are tasks that have to be done either before or after this task is done. So you can create them where they're supposed to be done in a specific order, and you can't get to task B unless you've completed task A. So this is a really cool feature for that. And then we also have, this is what Lior was referring to, is the resource utilization. So in here, you can see all of your employees in Zoho projects right here. And then these blocks will show you, are they full? Are they utilized, underutilized, or overutilized? And so if we hover over these blocks, it'll show us work allocated, and then it's over allocated by how many hours. So this is a really cool feature because it's just one quick glance, and basically you can use it, as Lior said, for an upcoming.
Okay. So I don't know what you said, but few people asking about pricing of the license of Zoho project. So that's great. So one answer can kill three questions. It's awesome. So first of all, Zoho project, it's part of Zoho One. So if you have a Zoho One license, it's included, and all the cool stuff that Carol is showing you is included. If you just have Zoho CRM license, you will need to have a separate license for Zoho project. In any case, before you're buying more licenses, schedule an appointment with me. It will not cost you any money, and at least I can recommend you on different licenses.
Mm-hmm.
It's very common that people buying licenses that they don't need, they pay more, and after a few years, they identify that they made a mistake.
Yeah.
So we can help you choose that. We don't even charge for this session. 15 minutes and you're good to go. There is a question, maybe you know the answer, Carol, I don't. Is there a way to know if someone completed the work other than tasks being closed?
So what I use for that is the logged hours. So if they're not logging hours and they're just closing tasks, you know they're not working on it. But one thing that I do, let me go back in my slides so I can show you. Okay, I don't have it. It's a custom field in our system. So I have a field in my Zoho projects that we created, and it is a resolution video field. So what I personally do is I have my developer upload a video of whatever feature the task was for, so that I can actually physically see it was done. And now things like testing or quality assurance, that's a whole different thing. That's not what this video is for. You're going to check it later on down the road when you go through the full project, right? But the only purpose of this video is to actually see that the task was done and that you can actually close it out. And of course, if you watch it and something's wrong, you can log the issue like I showed you in the issues and open it back up and tell them, hey, go fix this. But that's what I personally do.
Good. One more question is how to create Zoho project templates. And we don't have it here on the slides, but you will need to go to your drop down of the projects, and one of them will be project templates. And you just create a project template, and then you can create new projects using this Zoho template.
Yep.
And I have one more for you. That's a good one. I also don't have the answer for this one. I hope you, Carol. So when there is a utilization report and you see that you have a developer, he's supposed to work 8 hours a day, but he is allocated with 10 hours.
The meetings and webinars. We have Zoho Meeting here, and you can actually use Zoho Meeting for meetings and webinars both. They previously had Zoho Meetings, or Zoho Webinar, but now, no, sorry, Showtime, and now it is Trainer Central. So that's
They're changing it.
yeah.
I'm still piggybacking on the old one, like this session, but at some point we'll get pushed.
Yeah, exactly. But you can actually host both of them from Zoho Meeting.
There are some changes there, but anyway, you have the Zoho meeting. You have the meeting. You can make it for individual or multiple people.
And so in Zoho Meeting, you can schedule either a video conferencing or an audio conferencing. So that's pretty cool. So if you want people to have their video on, you can schedule it specifically for that. And if you don't, then it'll be for phone or just voice conferencing. And then of course, so this is the webinar inside of Zoho Meeting. You have all these different options. You have schedule co-organizers. So just like how Leo and then you can have automatic emails that go out for it. You can change your preferences and you can actually promote it from here as well. And you have an option. And here, so for Zoho Meeting, when you schedule a meeting, it will push it to the CRM. So you will have a reflection of that meeting here under the meeting module. And that does associate with the contact. So any meetings that Lior and I have had together, you would be able to see them under that module so that you can keep track. And that's actually a great way too. You can set up, for example, we have a blueprint on our meeting module. And what that does is it tracks if people are actually coming to the meeting or not. So if they're late or they're a no-show, if someone's a no-show in your meeting for 3 consecutive meetings, probably you shouldn't schedule another one with them, right? So that's very useful, but it's also useful. And this is what it looks like on Zoho Meeting. Lior, thank you for taking this photo.
I had to.
We'll skip over that one quickly.
Okay, there's some questions. Yeah, a few. I will just choose 3 of them. So one is, can I book a Zoho meeting from my CRM? And yes, if you can go back, please, to the previous slide, one above it. Yeah. So this is this one. Yeah. So when you're booking an appointment from Zoho CRM, you will have this small check mark, make this an online meeting. And if you integrate Zoho meeting with CRM, which is a few clicks, you will be able to click there, and whatever information that you push into this meeting, the meeting will be created using Zoho meeting, and there will be a link to it and everything. So that's doable. And I will just stay 1 second with the integration. Sometimes we hear that the developers are charging 10 hours of work or 5 hours of work for, I see Carol doing it. Yeah, it's just scary. They're charging lots of hours for integrating Zoho CRM with Zoho Books or Zoho CRM with Zoho Meeting. It's a click of a button.
Literally.
Yeah. So if someone is telling you that the integration will take hours, just know that he is BSing you. It's not real. Okay. It's a click of a button. Zoho is a very, very easy system. Another question. Do these meetings also sync with my calendar? Yes, you can sync those meetings automatically with the Zoho Calendar, Google Calendar, and Outlook. And the integration is from the CRM. Does Zoho Meeting have a virtual background? I don't think so.
I think they do now. I think that Showtime and Trainer Central do not, but I think Zoho Meeting does now. It's a new feature.
Awesome. So yeah. So yeah, you have the ability to do the background. And let's take one more. In our sales process, once a deal is won, there are usually between 5 to 10 steps, tasks that need to. Okay, we'll do that when we reach the tasks.
Okay.
I'm good.
And you also have like the start date, the due date here. As you can see, you can mention the assignee. You can make attachments here. You can attach things from Work Drive as well. I made a list for you over here though. So things that you want to use tasks for. So I always say that it's more of a one-off task, either one-off or a recurring task that you need to remember. So it's not going to be part of your processes necessarily. It's not going to be part of your sales cycle. It's not going to be part of your project management. So I'm not going to have a task every time a project starts to upload content to social media. That'll be Zoho projects. So here's some examples. Maybe it's for payroll. Maybe if you're in management, you need a task to run specific reports at certain times if you don't have them automatically set up, which you can do that too and have them emailed to you. Maybe it is ordering client gifts every quarter or yearly or however often you want to do things like that. Maybe it is to schedule employee reviews. There's a lot of things you can automate inside of things like Zoho People, but you have to initiate it, right? So you need to remember to actually go set up the cycle for that review. Maybe it's to also, tasks can be used for like your assistant. So if I needed my assistant to set up a meeting with my copywriter, then I could just assign her a task to do it instead of sending her an email and having it get lost in her inbox. Or update your website, sign up for a networking event. Maybe it's not open, but you've been keeping your eye on it and you want to remember once the tickets are for sale, so you can set a task to actually purchase them once the tickets are up. So those are ideas of things that you can actually utilize tasks for, and it makes sense without overwhelming your system with 8,000 tickets. Bottom line, they are to be used for one-off reminders and not part of a set process. Okay, so questions?
I will just give you an idea of how I personally use those specific tasks.
Okay.
Because they are not part of a process, when client will need something that we will do. For example, and we don't have many. We have just two. Can tasks block time on my calendar? That's a good one. I have no idea.
It depends on what calendar you have. So these tasks, this is actually connected to Zoho Calendar. So if you're using Zoho Calendar, you can have that happen. And so if it's I think you can set up how big the time block is too. I'll have to look into that more, but I think you can do it. I'm just not sure about the duration. So I'm not sure that it'll actually give you like an hour if you need an hour, but I do think it'll populate on your calendar.
Okay. And there is one more question. In our company, we have between 5 to 10 steps. For when there is a close one, we have between 5 to 10 steps that need to be completed before the deal is closed, and we get paid is using projects to complete this task. Okay, so the question basically is, do I supposed to use Zoho projects or just one-off tasks when there is a closed one and I need to do few activities? I wouldn't do it with Zoho projects or tasks. I would do it with a blueprint, and the blueprint will have checklists, and then you can't really proceed and close the deal until you actually verify that you did everything that you're supposed to do. So for sure, a checklist on blueprint and not tasks in any way.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think with that, the way I like to think about it is, even if you don't.
To me, yes.
Okay. Make sure I'm not just rambling. Okay, let's dive into Zoho Desk. Zoho Desk is a really, really cool application. I know a lot of people that have gotten a lot of use out of it. We've used it ourselves. And it is a ticket system. And I actually just found out today, I don't know if you knew about this, Lior, they have an update to the knowledge base now. And you can actually make your knowledge base public for your customers.
Oh, that's old.
That's old. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see
But it's
that
very cool.
until I updated it, though. So I thought it was new. Anyway, that's
Also,
embarrassing.
when in this, so you have this portal, and
Mhm.
in this portal, the clients can go, they can see existing articles,
Mhm.
and also while they're typing a ticket, it can load from the database of suggested articles based on their question.
Mhm.
So it's all working as one nice system. Very
Okay.
nice.
I knew it did that. I thought it was all internal, though. Okay, so this is what your dashboard would look like inside of Desk. The point of this dashboard is to give you the analytics for Desk itself. So this is very helpful in knowing what is coming in and out. So you'll see how many tickets come in on average. And then also this can help you if you're an admin, you can see different agents here on this dashboard. So it helps you manage people. So if your agents are always offline, that's a problem. If they have an average response time of 6 hours, probably that's a red flag, right? Or if they have 235 open tickets, then you probably want to address that. So there's a lot of different things, just like you can do on the CRMs with that feature. And this is what an actual ticket looks like. So there's a few different things going on in here. So first we can see who is the ticket assigned to right here. If you look at my mouse. Also, we would be able to click that and change the assignment. So I could assign it to someone else by clicking on that. The status is closed, so we can open it back up, change the status. It tells us what time it was closed. You can have different layouts, just like you have in the CRM, so you can play with that. And then they have the ticket information. So phone number, product name, skills. We don't have any of that, but if you do, it would be right here. And then, of course, you can change like the priority of the ticket, language. You can classify them in different classifications if necessary. The macro is really cool. So the macro, you can basically set this up to perform specific actions when you click on it. So kind of like creating a button in the CRM, I can make a macro, and if I click it, I could say bump 2 days. So then it would bump the due date of the ticket 2 days from now. And then at the top here, we have a resolution. So if you want to attach a resolution to the ticket, you can have a time entry. This is really cool. So you can actually log time in Desk on a ticket. So if you're using it as a support ticket and you need to log time for someone, a client, for helping them, you can log it here and then have that push to books so that it'll create an invoice for them. You have attachments just like an email. If you click activity, you can see what's going on there, who's touched the ticket, who changed things on it, who closed it out. Approval. So approval would be, maybe I have it set up where an employee wants to close the ticket out and they can't close it out until I check it and I make sure there's a resolution and I make sure there's a time entry. So I'll need to approve it prior to that happening. And so what you can do is the approval, you can set it up for notifications if you want to do that. And it would send you maybe an email or a click message so that you know that you need to go approve that ticket. What else? So over here in the top right, you have this dialog box. So if you click that, that's a comment. So that's internal communication. So if I have this ticket, maybe I'm like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with this. So I would click that button. Hey, Lior, can you help me answer this question because I don't understand? So I would just leave it a comment for him. And then you can tag people in it as well so that they can see it, or you can assign it to them and then they can assign it back to you. But the client doesn't ever see that. If you click the blue button right next to it, that would be replying. So that would be like basically like an email. So you're replying to them at that point. Another cool thing is you can set up from addresses on Desk. So I could set up a from address from default emails like sales, support, but then I could also have mine. So maybe I am in Desk and I'm answering sales questions. I'm helping people with technical support. So I'm answering from those emails. And then maybe something specifically for me comes through. So I need to change the from address to myself and then email them at that point so that they know that it's me directly communicating with them.
Okay.
Another thing
Okay, go ahead, please. Sorry.
you can also you can kind of determine how you want to utilize this. So you can have specific emails in the company coming to Desk for just support reasons, but you can also have everyone's email going to Desk if you choose to do that. So if you choose to do that, though, I encourage you to maybe rethink anyone in like management positions having their email there, because you probably don't want everyone seeing like payroll information and things like that. But for employees, it is beneficial because let's say someone calls out sick or they go on vacation for a week. Their inbox is like locked down. You cannot get into it. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if someone needs your help. If they are on Desk, then there's transparency. You can go and you can check and see if they have any unread tickets, and you can take care of it while they're gone. That also helps them out. They don't come back to a bunch of emails piling up, right? And then also it helps with accountability. So if people are not responding to people in a timely manner, if they're not sending things that they're supposed to, you can actually check all of that, and it's all visual there. And just like at the beginning, I showed you that dashboard. So instead of just having those analytics for your support requests, now you have those analytics for all of the emails in your company.
Okay, so you just stole what I want to say. Thank you. That's great.
My pleasure.
Yes. So we see two different usages for Zoho Desk. One will be as an alternative to a ticket system, and as Carol said, managers not supposed to be there because nobody is supposed to see managers or C-level communications.
Mm-hmm.
You do have something that's called SLA in Zoho Desk, and
Mm-hmm.
the SLA can determine how fast people supposed to respond to new tickets, basically when your clients will receive their first response, and also how much time it takes to close a ticket. And if it's falling outside of the time that you're set, let's say 2 hours for response, 6 hours for resolution, then it can escalate to a manager or someone else. Therefore, it can create very good customer service in your company.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that people use Zoho Desk will be for support. Basically, anything that is post-sale. Once you have your sale, it goes to the operations, and then operations and support works and basically work together. So those are the two usages that we see for Zoho Desk.
You can also have a multi-level SLA on Desk. So let's say the ticket wasn't responded in 2 hours, so it will escalate and it'll alert a manager. But if it's not responded in 4 hours, then it'll actually change the owner of the ticket to someone else. So now we're moving it so that we know someone else can take care of it.
Okay, so one question, is it expensive to receive customers' emails in Zoho Desk? No, not at all. It's probably 1 hour to set up the incoming emails going to Desk. It's a relatively very simple process.
Mm-hmm.
Can I set up departments and teams? Yes. So that's a good question. When you have tickets coming in, when I say tickets, it's or that your customers are actually creating tickets on your website, or they will send emails to a designated email, such as support at, info at, sales at, and those emails will be forwarded into Zoho Desk, and those emails will become tickets. When you're answering the tickets, your client will get them as emails. So your client is using what he knows, which is emails, and you're using what you know, which is tickets. So it's perfect. When tickets coming in, let's say it goes to support at, then we can assign them to a team of support. And when your emails going to accounting at, we can send them to the finance team. So there is no problem to create assignment rules based on any logic that you like.
Mm-hmm.
Is the reply email just the general support email? Okay, so when you're, the question is what happens when you click on reply? By default, it will reply to the same email that it was sent to. So if someone sent it to support at, by default, it will be sent to support at, but using support at. If you like, you can also click on a drop down and you can change it to any email that you like. That's it.
Okay.
1 second, I have one more question. It's a mix of what we discussed before and also now. Can you have a desk automated to create and push to tasks when you are assigned a ticket? Yes. So there is no problem to integrate between Zoho Desk and the task system. It's just a small workflow that need to be created with a small custom function. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Okay. So now we're going to talk about communication and alerts. This is Click. So Click is mainly used for in-house communication. I compare it to Slack, if you've ever heard or used that. I think there's a few other ones out there, but essentially you have everyone in your organization on Click, and there's a few different things you can really use it for. So you can meet now, so you can call people on Click, you can have a video call, you can have screen sharing call, and of course you can message, like a text message. So that's pretty cool. You can actually do a conference call on Click too. So if it needed to be me and Leor and 2 developers, we could all have a conference call. It's much easier than creating a Zoom link and all of those things when it's in-house and just kind of real quick, you need to jump on. For employees, you can change the status here too. So you can have available, away for a meal, a quick 15-minute break, whatever it is. So that way, if I send you a message and I see you're away from a meal, I can expect to get a reply back in like an hour and not, pretty soon. Over here, you can pin conversations to the top so that you can access them quickly. You can see all the different conversations. You can create channels in here. So for example, I have a sales channel created on our system. And so anytime that there's a new lead or there needs to be a follow-up on a deal, anything like that, it'll come through on the sales channel Click. And that way it sends me a record link, and all I have to do is click it. It'll take me to the record. I can do what I need to do there. You can send files on here. And also, when you're actually in the CRM, on the bottom left, we have a Click panel. So you can click there and you can chat directly from the CRM. You can also get notifications from there. So you don't have to be in the Click application to receive these. You can just go about your day. You're working in the CRM, working on follow-ups, whatever it is, and you'll get the alerts there. So you won't miss anything. Here's an example of things coming in from Zoho CRM. So if you're using this as an alert, then this is what it'll look like. You can program it to say new lead or whatever the alert is for. And then once you click view record in blue, it'll take you to that record. It'll open up a new window. If you're in Click, I recommend using Click if you always have a bunch of conversations going like I do. So sometimes I will have to open multiple windows like this to make sure that I'm responding to everyone because I'm typically in meetings throughout the day. So I'll have to leave it up, and that way I can see what's going on. But you can open a few different up. I think you open 3 up at one time. So that's pretty cool. You can also search through the messages. So there's a search bar at the top, or you can click on the magnifying glass in the message, and then you're able to search just in the thread from you and that person. If you're looking for something specific, you can use keywords. You can forward messages to other people on Click. I can't think of anything else right now. Okay, we can take questions.
Okay, so the first question is probably my favorite. We're using Skype. Is it worth moving to Click? So first of all, if you're communicating with your employees using anything that you're not controlling, you are in trouble. If you're using messages, iMessage, Messenger, Skype, whatever, once the employee is no longer with the company, he owns the data. Everything that you're sending is his. Now, leave the fact also that all those communication tools, they're not secure. The data and intellectual property is not yours. Huge problem. In Click, when you're communicating with your team, whenever the employee is no longer with the company, with a click of a button, you can terminate his license and all the communications are gone and you have no access to them. This is priceless. Also,
it also protects. Sorry.
Also, in terms of liability, for example, we have basically we are liable on our client's data. If I am sending now username and password to my developer, and one day he's not with the company anymore, obviously I don't want him to access my client's system. So if it's on Click, I have no problem. And if it's on other systems, obviously I'm in deep trouble because now he's no longer with the company. I signed an agreement with the customer and I basically can't make sure that this data is protected. Very bad. We have some questions, but we're already at 3 p.m. So I think we'll stop here. I want to be respectful for people's time.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, we have some more slides, but we'll have more of those sessions anyway. I got lots of people requesting to have more applications, so I'm happy it's useful.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.